If you are seeking self-knowledge, listen to this video carefully. The more you share your pain, the greater the possibility that people will want to cause you suffering. Although this does not always happen, it is common for some people to feel satisfied when they see you going through difficulties, or even contribute to making the situation worse. Unfortunately, this sadistic and envious behavior is present in many people and can significantly harm your personal growth in different areas of life, whether at work, among friends, or even in the family. Therefore, learning not to expose your weaknesses can become an advantage. Imagine yourself as a tree during a storm. The leaves may tremble and the branches may sway, but the trunk remains solid, deeply rooted in the ground. This represents the silent resilience that we are about to share. We will discuss how you can become even stronger by demonstrating that you are not easily affected by external or internal issues. Each challenge will be a lesson to act like the tree, as if nothing bothered you. It is not about denying the existence of the storm, but about choosing not to be impacted by the rain and the wind. You will be learning to be the master of your own destiny, firm, strong, and serene in the midst of chaos. In this video, I invite you to get to know yourself, where true strength does not come from the roar of thunder, but from the silence of the light that illuminates the path. Therefore, in the next few minutes, focus on the content. There will be 15 principles for you to become the master of your path. 1. Listen twice as much as you speak. Have you ever wondered why nature gave us 2 ears and only 1 mouth? According to Epictetus, there is no mistake or coincidence in this, but rather a clear purpose. We move forward in life by learning from others, not by endlessly repeating our own speech. So from today on, start paying more attention to what the people around you say and less to what you have expressed up until now. Number 2. Always expect the worst. One of the greatest sources of anxiety and its devastating consequences is the belief that unfavorable circumstances await us in the future. We fear that our children will drop out of school, that we will be fired from work, that our spouse will confess to an affair with someone else and file for divorce, or that something bad will happen, such as bankruptcy. The problem is that one day we will have one of these problems, and the next day another and another. Life, in addition to having good and happy moments in store for us, also has some inevitable problems in store for us. Therefore, we live in permanent stress caused by different stimuli every day. So think that all these things we fear so much have already happened, and so what could be worse? This way, your spirit will develop strategies to move forward with your head held high. 3. Be prepared to face failures. Being considered a fool is one of the best things that can happen to us, and it is the key to truly improving both professionally and personally. Overcoming obstacles does not come from spontaneous reactions, but rather from the long journey of trial and error. It is through mistakes that we can improve what separates us from excellence. Number 4. Be aware of the dangers associated with wealth. The fortune we desire carries with it a stigma that few people can free themselves from. It is not just about the people who appear to benefit from our fortune by pretending to be friends with us that they do not feel. Money has the power to transform people, not always for the better. Once we become the possessors of this much desired resource, we begin to have something that we did not know we had until then. And it is from that moment on that our minds can begin to become poisoned by the loss of moral values. 6. At the end of the road, death awaits us. This is not advice that leads us to pessimism, but rather the awareness that death is the final destination of all our actions, and especially of our efforts. By keeping this in mind, perhaps we can begin to evaluate to what extent it is worth spending 20 years of our limited life saving to buy a house, which, no matter how much it weighs on us, we will not be able to take with us wherever we go. Having a small notebook with these principles can be beneficial, as it will help us see setbacks, not as misfortunes, but as an opportunity to acquire a more realistic view of our existence and certainly make better use of our time alive. 7. Incorporate humility into your life. If you really want to learn something, it is essential that you learn about what you believe you already know, especially in the field of learning. Going through life boasting of pride in your knowledge takes you further and further away from the authentic knowledge that arises from the conviction that you are completely ignorant about what you want to learn. Therefore, we must observe everything as if we were seeing through the eyes of a child who has the ability to marvel at every lesson. 8. Guilt is synonymous with a plague. Narrow-minded people blame others. Ordinary people blame themselves, but wise people see all guilt as foolishness. Thanks to this phrase from Epictetus, modern therapists have begun to approach guilt as a feeling to be eradicated from our lives. The only way to win the competition against guilt is to refuse to play with it. The problem is that this leads to an easy path, because by blaming others or ourselves, we completely absolve ourselves of the responsibility for correcting the mistake. Therefore, resorting to it is a temptation that is difficult to escape. and only those driven by a firm determination to overcome are able to avoid guilt and still take responsibility for their actions. 9. Partner with people who are winners. It is interesting how when someone sneezes near us, we immediately move away, overcome by the fear of being infected. However, we do not act with the same caution to avoid one of the most lethal infections to which we are exposed daily. We need to surround ourselves with people who motivate us to do our best, because people's behavior has a great influence on our behavior. There are people who drain our energy and ruin our day, while others fill us with joy and vitality. Therefore, one of the smartest decisions we can make is to ally ourselves with those who bring good vibes into our lives, while saying goodbye to those who have the ability to make us regret ever being born. Number 10. Your current behavior shapes your future. Never forget that your reactions shape your destiny. We should not take our reactions lightly, because they are, definitively, what marks our success or failure. We do not have the possibility of choosing what happens to us, but we can learn that what we do with the situations that come our way is what will make all the difference in the future. While for some people, a divorce means entering the world of depression and victimization, for others, it is a golden opportunity to begin the path of self-knowledge and renewal. Remember that your life is not defined by what happens to you, but by what you do with what happens to you. 11. Fulfill your obligations. Each of us has a role in society and in the world. The sun does not need praise to rise each morning, but it does so every day. Just as every part of nature does its work, we must fulfill our obligations. If we wait to be pleased or praised to do our work, we are failing both the environment to which we belong and ourselves. If we know what our task is and are aware that others depend on it, it is our moral duty to do it without waiting for someone to remind us. 12. Do not hate those who hate you, just ignore them. You are much greater and totally superior to those who criticize, despise, and discriminate against you. So don't waste your valuable time hating these people, because they don't deserve to be in your thoughts. We are encouraged not to fear those who harm us, because this noise represents a regrettable attempt to cause harm. Ignore it and become immune to these influences. 13. Opt for simplicity. Why choose to live frugally when today we have the opportunity to surround ourselves with all kinds of luxuries? The answer is simpler and more logical than you might think, because wealth does not maintain itself. It requires daily commitment and a lot of energy to maintain this system of luxury and wealth. In contrast, by choosing a simple lifestyle, we free ourselves from the pressure of meeting deadlines for bills, loans, and credit cards. Don't let others bother you. When you allow the comments and attitudes of others to bother you, you are giving up control of your life. Anyone who can irritate you becomes your master. However, that person can only irritate you when you allow yourself to be disturbed by him/her. There are many keys within us, some of which lead us to happiness, while others lead us directly to emotional ruin, and it is precisely this last key that we give to those who irritate us. The solution to this problem is to erect a barrier that prevents us from being affected by the attitudes of others, because ultimately, each person is the owner of what they say and also of what they decide to listen to. 15. Friendship is above wealth. True wealth lies in genuine friends, for they will be there to support us if one day our material fortune dissipates. So dedicate yourself to cultivating true friendships by making a profitable long-term investment. These principles are teachings that can help us face difficult times with interest and resilience. There is no room for fantasies, only for the application of learning. Keep going. If you like this video, if you made it to the end, share your ideas with us in the comments, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next video.